Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Boss.
Alpha, can you hear me?
Yes, boss.
Okay, okay. Are you in?
No, 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 no.
Why now?
I just wanted like extra listening confirmation, and I didn't want to enter from that 1 minute. I was not in class yesterday.
Oh, oh, no, rather. Let's just do a quick
No,
recap. So, yeah,
Good morning, my mentor.
okay.
So,
How's the night, sir?
yeah. Hey, when men slept. Ah,
It is.
Israeli. Kai. Yeah, my God,
Is it?
my boss for me. I've been sleeping
Ah,
for
ah, 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 ah.
for
You,
10 minutes
you,
since yesterday night.
you now, we need like four more for you.
Jesus.
Yeah. Okay, so whatever you trade, then you still would have gotten a setup. So whether you trade trend line, support and resistance, just make sure you are following the trend. And what's the trend? The trend is an uptrend. So you want to just follow what the price is, what the market is doing. So from here now we have um trend line resistance. We have trend line resistance here, and then a trend line support for this buy here. Right. So we have multiple. So like and like I've always said, the third touch of the trend line is usually the strongest. This is the first touch, the second, and then this is the third. One reason we expected buys from here. Now, if you are trading support and resistance, this will give you a valid SNR, right? This will give you a valid SNR starting from this point here to give you a valid SNR for this buy. So we also have an SNR here, which makes up for this entire region, right? So there was actually a stop hunt around here, which took many people out for before price started retracing to the downside. Let me let me show you where that came from. Okay, so the flow now is we have something like this, and then like this. I'm expecting this to happen. So let me explain what happened here. After this break of structure, the next break of structure we have is the next break of structure we have is this guy. So after, how do you trade your reversal? The moment this is taken out and then price gives a change of character, you then look out for entries to reverse the trend back to an internal range liquidity. So going to the lower time frame, let me see if we have that on the 15 minutes. Going to the lower time frame, we had series of buys to the upside. And if you agree with me, this was the last buy. This was the last buy to the upside that took out this guy here, right? I'm trying to explain just the sell. So what that means is this was this buy now took out this from here. So we had something like this and then like this. So what that means is this is where we now have a change of character. This is where we now have a change of character to now be expecting sales to an internal range liquidity. So if, for example, we are looking at buying from a zone, then it should be this zone here, right? Remember I said because of this week, we take this week as a point of invalidation. So basically we have this change of character that's transferred money from sellers to buyers. So we're expecting these buys from here, right? So if that's the case, this change of character, you know the drill, it is structural liquidity and then a point of interest. So if you are looking at what price did here, you would have two POIs. And let me show you where what those POIs would be. Okay, so we can even leave it at 15 minutes. So we have this liquidity here and then this other block here. Good morning. Good morning. How are you now? Good morning, man. Good morning. How are you? Good morning. Good morning, man. So if you are marking out this other block, you would have to pick out the point of invalidation, which is this guy. So we now have this entire range, right? Now, for people who would use this and then give breathing space for their SLs, they will be at peace, right? The market would have just reversed and then go straight to their TP. You know what the TP is? The IRL, which is the internal range liquidity, which is protecting this zone here. That will be your take profit zone. Now, once price takes out, weeks out this guy, it does not invalidate this setup. So what you would now see would be something like this. That's what you should be seeing. So if we go to the 1 minute, what you expect from that entire zone is a change of character, liquidity, and then an order block to sell from. A change of character, liquidity, and then an order block to sell from. So we have this as the last low that created a high. So we have this, and then, okay, let me delete this guy. We have this guy as the liquidity, or let's even say you're picking this as the liquidity. It simply means you would have had this zone as the order block zone to sell off from, right? You would have this zone as the order block zone to sell off from. So if you were selling from this zone, this would have been it for you. This would have been, sorry, this would have been your take profit zone. So you'd have been targeting about 13R. Now, for the buy, some of you were complaining that you were saying you wanted more. Okay. Some of you were saying you wanted more confirmation. I really do not know what confirmation. Okay, except if you're dealing with 5 minutes, then you can now be expecting this to happen. I just hope it does for you people. So you have this as the change of character now. Okay, you can even take this as the change of character so that you can look out for close zones here, around here. So once this takes this out, you just mark out a liquidity and then probably pick an order block that was created here. And then you can look out for an extra confirmation if you still need an extra confirmation. But that will now mean that you'll be looking out for a confirmation still on the 1 minute. But this is how I'll send you a before of my MetaTrader 5. This was the last guy I saw here. On the 1 minute, I had another one on the 1 minute. So on the 1 minute, I had this guy here as a break of structure, and of course, this guy here as another break of structure. And because this is the last high that created a low, this is the last high that created a low. But even if you are seeing that this is another break of structure, no Allah, you still will be correct. You will now have your change of character here, and then this guy as liquidity for this zone here, So you'd have had 5, you'd have had this, and obviously your target would be this overall high here. So 13R here, 12R here, all just following structure, liquidity, and then your point of interest using the storyline. So basically, what we now have as our trend is this high, a low. Remember I said this high is invalid, this high, this low, and then we have this high that created this low, and then we're expecting something like this, right? So we have a beautiful order flow. Are we good? Is there anybody who does not understand?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, man. How's the night, man?
Fine, sir, yes. Sir, please, this storyline you're always mentioning, I don't understand it though.
It simply means okay. So you know how let's say you have a break of structure. Okay, let me do it this way for you. Let's say you have liquidity here. Okay, so here now, what do you have? You have a break of structure, right? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Now, internally, you have this as what? Your change of character. And then you have this as liquidity. And then you have this as an order block you are buying from. Now, let's say you have price creating liquidity here, right? And then you have an order block around here where you are buying from. Now, If price comes here, respects this guy, and eventually takes it out, where do you expect price to react from? Based on the storyline that is told here, where you have a change of character, liquidity, and an order block. Now, price in coming into this area trended to the downside, gave what? Another change of character, give another liquidity here, and then give obviously a point of interest. Now, the moment price takes out this guy, right, you should know where price is going to. So you see all of this build up here is to what we refer to as storyline. You can also refer to it as order flow or money transfer. So definitely, if there's a transfer of money from this zone into this zone, price is expected to come into this zone. So when price was trending around, was trending to the downside into this region. Now, the reason why this buy here failed is because the storyline says there is an order block here for price to still use. Because we had price changing character. Where's that guy? Changing character here, giving liquidity here, and then giving an order block here. Now, from here, there is now a money transfer where we have another change of character here. Price came, gave liquidity, and then an order block where price tapped into, gave another change of character. Let me reduce this. This is it here. So on the one, let me switch to the 1 minute so that I'll get exact order block. Okay, perfect. Now we had this zone, and then price gave a change of character here, gave liquidity here, and then came to tap into this zone here, right? Now from this zone, we had price coming into this zone here, which broke this structure here and gave liquidity here. Now from this zone now, we have a change of character, we have liquidity, and then we have another point of interest here. Now, price might have, so you see, we are trying to build story using from this particular area, seeing how price was changing character, building liquidity, and then using order blocks. Sorry, change of character, liquidity, order blocks. Now, the moment price leaves out this area, now you know in the future price is going to come back, either to use it as an impulsive move or as a pullback. So the storyline here is trying not to miss out on the moves, understanding money transfer from zone to zone, because price actually moves from zone to zone. It does not eliminate any zone in between. And that's what people call imbalances, where there are zones that have been missed. People call it imbalances, but we don't trade imbalances. We don't trade fair value gaps. We just try to understand the flow of the market. So if, for example, I'll just reiterate, we have this as the last break of structure, knowing fully well that I have a range now from this bottom, from bottom here to the top here. What do I want to do? I want to read price action from the bottom here. And what do I want to spot first? It is a change of character, liquidity, and an order block. I want to find out whether there is a zone missing out. And how do I do that? By building stories. I have my change of character, liquidity, and order block that's been mitigated. Moving to the next one, we have change of character, liquidity, and order block. So this is what we refer to as storyline. Hope you understand, ma.
Yes, sir.
All right.
But sometimes this, and when you go to your 15 minutes time frame, you will
Yes.
see many other blogs that are not mitigated. I don't know if this storyline also implies in 15 minutes time frame or other
Can,
time frames.
can you show us one? Let me know if I have to move.
Sir,
Can you find
please,
any? Huh? Are you there?
yes, sir.
Can you find any
So I'm coming, let me check.
on your phone? Okay, so like even yesterday, you can keep check. Are you checking on my chat or on your phone?
Sir, you're not on 15 minutes time frame.
I am on 15 minutes, man.
Okay.
See the time frame here.
Okay. But sir, I think there are previous other blogs that price refused to mitigate before coming up.
Like down here.
That's see this one.
This one here.
See, and there's one up here. Yes, this one.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one that down.
This one.
Yes. There's also another one down.
This one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very correct. So if market has to do everything you want, that means everybody will be profitable. So I can give you many other zones here that price never came back to. So the idea is following the flow of the river, right? So this is it now. If price is trending to the upside and then leaves an unmitigated zone here, right? Comes all the way up, gives a break of structure, comes back into the order block here, gives a change of character, gives liquidity, you join up. Do you get the point? You join up, you keep buying.
Yes, sir.
Once price breaks this, gives liquidity, comes back into an order block here, gives you your confirmation, you buy. It is, if you lose it, it is called a valid loss.
Okay.
Do you understand? Now, the moment
Yes, sir.
price decides to do this now, comes to take all of this out zone here, right? If price does this, comes into this area now and gives you confirmation, you can still buy. What that means is what you have as a higher high, a higher low, a higher high is invalid here. This point is invalid because in an uptrend, lows should not be violated. So it simply means your structure has changed from this one I drew previously to this. So all of this move is classified as one. Do you get it? So You follow what price is doing. Let me show you something on, I think it happened around, okay, this one here now. What price did was price came. I hope you know the change of character in this area happened on the line chart. Let me show you on 4H. Now, if you were looking at this chart, you would have expected this to happen. So sometimes you need to be flexible. You would have expected that price takes out this as the change of character, right? But can I shock you? See where the change of character happened. This is where the change of character actually happened. This is the change. This was the last break of structure. This is the liquidity. And then this was the area. And you guys can bear me witness, I had a buy from here. Why? Because I was flexible to what price was doing. If price had gotten to this area, to this level, and did not take out this high, simply means something fishy. Now, the moment that happened, going to, let's see, 30 minutes. Now, when market opened Sunday night Sunday night, midnight, before we slept, I was having one boot camp with Officer Julio, Mahori, and Mr. Eddie. I think the only person that is not on this life now is Officer Julio. I gave a buy from this region. But I think the only person who was triggered was Officer Julio. Now, the moment this happened, you know the reason why we're having this buy. Let me tell you. It's because I wish I can go to the 1 minute. Let's see if I can go to this. Auntie will make this class very long though. So you people will have to hold her responsible. This is 3 minutes. Mr. Linus, welcome, sir.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Okay, so we had how I saw this buy was this. I think on the 5 minutes, I had an order block here on the 5 minutes because from here now, there's a valid zone here that gave change of character and gave this liquidity. So you would expect that price will react from it, which it did. It gave a change of character, gave this liquidity here, and then we had that zone. Now, what is expected is that price will react from, let me shift this, is that price will react from this zone and then sell. So price reacted but did not sell. Rather, it took out all of these highs. What that means is we have transferred, money has been transferred from sellers to buyers. So what that means is I now have a new zone here. A new zone here with this guy as the liquidity. So the moment price tapped into this and then changed character, we then have our change of character, we then have our liquidity, and then we now have a new point of interest. So price came back to this and did what? Bought, right? Came back to this and bought. Now, we have a change of character, storyline now. Price gave this as liquidity, and then we have this entire zone. Let's use the entire zone. Or if you want to use this, no problem, as the order block. Now, did price ever come back to it? No, it just kept buying. Were there other zones to buy from? Yes. Let's make it easier because we have less than 10 minutes. Let's make it easier on the 5 minutes. Okay, very good. So we have, what is the next zone? We have structural break here. We have liquidity. And then we have an order block here that price used, but kept doing the same thing. We have a break of structure, liquidity, and then price tapped into an order block and then did what? It bought. It kept doing the same thing over and over and over again until it got to this point. This is a break of structure. This is your liquidity, and then this is an order block. Price tapped into it, and then what did he do? It went up, and it is expected that price will either use this break of structure, liquidity, and then this order block to buy. Price came into it and failed. Now, what is the lowest point that created this high? It is this point. So which means we now have a change of character. Now, why should we have a change of character in the middle of nowhere? You know the range. The range is the fact that if price is buying from here now, it should take out this high. So price should not be reversing into any area. Remember, you only have one zone that is left unmitigated, which is this zone. And that's where price came into. Okay. And that's where price came into. Why? Based on storyline, we have one zone unmitigated. So you need to now be flexible to what price is doing. Now, when price tapped into this zone, what did he do? He gave a change of character. He gave liquidity here. Did he tap into the zone? No. It has not come back into it. But will it come back? We don't know. So should we not buy? We should look for other areas. If you remember last week, I think it was one news was that it was NFP. I gave a buy around this region, right? The XNS messed up. And why did I give the buy? It is because price had cleared this liquidity and tapped into a zone here. Now, I now have what? A change of character. I have liquidity here, and then I have this other block here. Price taps into it, gives me what? Change of character, engineers liquidity, and then taps into an order block. What did he do next? He gave change of character, creates liquidity, and then taps into an order block. This was the reason I was expecting. Only that I refined it to, I think, 1 minute or 2 minutes. So that's why we had a sniper entry it was somewhere around here. That's where we had our entry from here. Now, if price had taken us out, it would be a valid loss. And where else will I be waiting for an entry? It would have been this area. Right? So I'm not confused when I come to the charts and see that, oh, this setup failed. You see some people, they would now trying to be forcing buys. They would draw an imaginary order block somewhere, and then price will take them out. Why? Price has where it is going to. So if it fails this one, I am not going to take another trade until price comes here, gives me my confirmation, and then I'll join. So the storyline helps you identify what valid areas have been left out, just in case price wants to revisit them. So how do you identify them? The moment you identify your direction, let's say this, you now know you have a range from this low to this high. Now, from the start of this low, you identify what? Your change of character, liquidity, and an order block. As money keeps transferring, you know where to now point out as an unmitigated area. Hope that answers your question. Why price does not visit some areas and then just keeps going.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
And any other question?
Boss, please, one last one here.
We have 3 minutes, so you have to be fast.
Please, what enough breathing space is enough?
So you cannot get it 100% here. So what is advised is you can give like 5 pips. But sometimes even that your 5 pips, price can still hit it and then go your direction. So if you are live
Boss,
on
please,
chat,
how do we do that? It's like,
okay, I think we would hold a class on pips calculation. Meanwhile, if you have something,
And the various types of other blocks.
okay, so that should be our class tomorrow.
another block mitigation.
It's still other block, no wahala. So if we have price reacting like this, right? Let's say you had an order from this zone and then price takes you out and you are live on the chart. Now, all you need to do is watch out for price reaction, how price reacted in that area. If the moment you find a change of character, you can still go in. Right? The moment you find it, because you know this was just a stop loss hunt. It's not a full candle break. If you find something like this and you find a change of character in between, you can take a trade. Right? So just be we'll do tomorrow. Our time is fast spent and I need to sleep. So we'll do like pips calculation on gold majorly. So if you had done something like this, maybe you would have still be in. But this can be painful, sha. Imagine analyzing and then you are waiting trades to play out and it just comes out. All right,
Very
one last.
painful.
Any other question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for gold now,
Thank
we're
God that.
expecting our buys to continue to create a new high. Meanwhile, I would advise if you are still on the trade, let's quickly read money transfer on this sell so that we know what zones to look out for. Also, very simple. This is our last break of structure, and then this is the last internal range liquidity for this order block here. Right? So to be on a safe side, you can put your TP right here. If you're on the trade, you can put your TP there and allow price do what he wants to do. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. We good? Una no one go.
My hurry, my
Who is saying yeah?